Start by just, clearing the area. You see there's a lot of pine straw here. Just want to get this out of here, get it a little bit cleaner. We'll pick this up and haul it away. And now I just want to see how many tree roots are right here, because we need to start with a shovel and then go to the post hole digger afterwards. So let's just see. Yeah, you can feel it, hit it right away. There are a lot of roots down here. They could be from the palmettos, they could be from the pines, but once we get through those roots, we'll be able to start jetting the well with the pressure washer. And we're using a mini jet nozzle, and we should be able to drill this well in about an hour. So we want to dig as far as we can with just a regular shovel. Now we'll try the post hole diggers. If you look closely, you can see that there's still tree roots, even down 20 inches, but the post hole diggers will take them out.
Always try to use your hand tools as best you can. Get as deep as possible before you start to drill.
So take a look. You can see I'm down there about 3 feet. I already hit groundwater, but that's all good. Notice this is peat moss mixed with sand and a little bit of clay. You can see the difference in the soils. This here's halfway from that, and here's the top. You can see a big difference in the soil types. Peat moss and clay, and you can see it's full of water. So nearly positive that we're going to get down 35-40 feet and be into a big pocket of water. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make a drill bit. We're going to make some teeth. So we're just going to cut some little notches in here.
The guide shaft does a couple of things. One, it gets us down there about 10 feet, is wide open. But more than that, as we start to run water down through the next pipe, it gives a place for those cuttings to come back up to the surface. They need to drain away from the area. So we're making some teeth into this. It's like a little drill bit, so we can just turn this back and forth.
So you can kind of see how that looks. We've just got a bunch of teeth that we cut. And then when we dig this down in the ground, we can twist it, and this will help force it down into the ground. We're going to do the same thing on the 2-inch PVC. So, can you see that? We've just got a bunch of teeth. Clean off those burrs, and we're ready to drill. Okay, with those teeth, I'm going to sink this 10-foot section down as far as I've dug by hand with the post hole diggers. Remember, always dig by hand as much as you can before you start to drill. Get as deep as you can. Shovel, post hole diggers, they work really good, but there does come a point that you can't go any deeper. So let's put this 10-foot section of 4-inch down into the trench. And I mean, you can see I can just twist it and it kind of sinks on its own. And again, I could twist this and make it go down, ever so slightly. But when we add the water from the water jet, from the pressure washer, it'll push that sand out of the way, and a lot of water will come up through the hole, but it'll also come up through the pipe. So now we need the derrick, we need the ladder, because we need to get up on the top of that so that we can actually work and push this pipe down. So you can see why we need the derrick, the ladder. We're setting it up just like you would an oil rig, but we need to get up on the top, up here, so that we can put that jetter nozzle in, and at the same time we'll be able to twist this back and forth. We might need a big pipe wrench, and I've got that, where we can just twist that pipe wrench so that it digs down, and as it sinks down it'll go lower and lower and lower. Hopefully we can get this entire 10-foot section down into the ground. So let's get started.
The mini jet is extremely powerful, as you can see. If I let go of that hose, it would just fly up in the air like a jet. So we're going to send this all the way down to the bottom of the pipe, and then we'll kick on the pressure washer. And I'm going to speed the video up here a little bit because it's just kind of boring to watch all this. And you'll see this pipe go straight down into the ground. The total time to jet this was probably about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most. And this pipe just sinks down through there like butter. The secret is to continue to push that jetter. Let it get down to the bottom of your pipe and then pull it back out. Don't let it get stuck, because it can get stuck. That's an important thing to think about. You can see how far we got down in just a few minutes.
Okay, I think we're ready to sink our 2-inch shaft down through there. And we want to try to get down 30, 40 feet. And we know we're going to hit water, because it's coming up already, but we need to get that 2-inch shaft down there. And then we send the 1-inch pipe, which is actually the suction up to the pump. And so we've got to sink 2 shafts. First is the 2-inch. And we'll put 10 feet in, glue the coupling, another 10 feet, and just keep jetting until we get clear down as deep as we can get. Hopefully we can get down there, like I said, 30, 40 feet. We should definitely hit water, some probably around 20 feet, but let's get down deeper, and then I'll put all that together and show you how well this actually works. So there's one more thing that we need to do. Each time we use this mini jet, we need to take a little straight pin and clean it out. It's about the only thing that really fits down in there. And because there is sand that, each time you turn it off, you get some sand down in these things. And if you can see it, it's really hard to show you because it's so small, but there's jets back here. And you can take this straight pin and just poke a hole through that sand if there's any sand in there. Can you see that? We just want to clean each one of them out. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and glue the next 10-foot section on. So let's do that. We've got our 2-inch coupling. Just hold it for a few seconds because, that glue is still wet. It just takes a few seconds for it to bond. And can you see the whole thing twisting now? And it's actually, I can still sink it now, so that's all good. We're ready to put the jetter back in.
It is so hot here in the early morning So you're going to see me change shirts several times because you just get drenched. And there's mosquitoes, especially in the morning. So that's why I have on the long sleeve shirt. So now we're adding the third section. That makes us 30 feet down once this gets in the ground.
Okay, so I've gotten stuck 3 times now. And what's happening is that jetter gets down below the bottom of the pipe and it goes sideways. And then the sand, of course, is pulling the sand back out. It's filling around that nozzle and it's really hard to pull out if you saw me pulling it out. So we're going to keep on going. Don't give up. If you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. I've got plan B already set up, but let's see if we can twist this back and forth and cut that down into that clay, get through that layer of clay. I don't know how thick it will be. It's probably a couple of feet thick. But once we get past that, we should get down into that soft sand again, and that's where all that big pocket of water is.
Probably the biggest question that I get asked is, what happens when you get stuck? Well, when you get stuck, you really get stuck, and it is not easy to pull that mini jetter back. So what I'm doing right now is I'm loosening that pipe, just twisting it back and forth. But if you watch carefully, I'm going to pull and pull and pull. I'm going to go higher up on the ladder, get more leverage. I'm going to pull, and you think that thing is going to break the hose. You really do. But just keep pulling, keep pulling. Sometimes you can add more water to it, but keep pulling, and eventually that will break free. I promise. And you see that? Now the jet's coming back out. But we can't stop here. You have to go back into it again because we need to sink this shaft down. That's the most important thing. That's why I said don't give up.
So, can you see down in there? I don't know. But there's no water rising and there's no water coming up. So I know that I'm down into a big pocket of water, and all the water that I'm giving it from the pressure washer is now going into the ground, into that pocket. Can you see that? Take a look at this. Can you see this? Look at this. This is almost like a rubber. And that's what's down there at the bottom of this well right now. And it's pretty thick. It's pretty hard. You can see it kind of hardened off. Underneath of that, you can see we've got really nice white sand. So we're close to that water pocket. But this stuff, I mean, it's just, look at that. It's like a clay. In fact, I'll bet you that, I'll take that back. This is a clay. We have hit clay down there, and it's pretty hard. So I haven't tried to, let me pull this off. I haven't tried to put the pipe wrench on here yet. So I'm putting the pipe wrench on. I haven't really tried to use the teeth. I'm going to try to take this pipe wrench and twist and push this thing down as deep as we can go. See if we can cut a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to try to leave that 2-inch shaft down into the ground, and had so many comments about, well, why don't you leave the 2-inch shaft down there and then sink down the well point? So I thought I would give this a try. We're going to go ahead and push down this pipe. This is a 20-foot section of 1-inch pipe, and it already has the foot valve on it. So I will go ahead and try that. We'll push this 20-foot piece of pipe all the way down and see what happens.
Way up there. Get it started. Hopefully it'll sink all the way down. I hear the water. Can you hear it? And what I want to do is put my safeties on here so it doesn't drop down any further.
Unfortunately, this pipe got stuck, totally stuck in the sand.
So where we left off yesterday, man, it's hot out here, is this got stuck. This didn't go down all the way. We're gonna have to try again. So I'm gonna pull this out. I don't know if you can hear that. It's got lots of water. Here's our check valve, and here's our well point. Perfect. And what we're going to do is a new idea. We're actually going to see if we can't use the mud pump and push this pipe, a 1-inch pipe down there, and just blow all that sand out, because I'm pretty sure that it just filled up inside of that 2-inch shaft. And as soon as we get down there 30-40 feet, we'll go ahead and reinstall the new well point down in, and we should be good to go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue up 2 20-foot pieces. Get some glue in there, get some primer on this guy, and some glue on this guy. And we're going to glue these 2 pieces together. Sorry, I need 2 hands. Perfect. So now we've got 20 feet and 20 more feet. That's 40 feet of 1-inch pipe. We're going to hook that up. We're going to adapt that to the discharge of a 2-inch mud pump. So even though I'm not too worried about this thing leaking, I put some Teflon tape on here. This is a bushing that goes from 2-inch to 1-inch, and we're just going to thread this guy right in here, and then we'll glue this guy on here, and of course he's threading into the 2-inch adapter. So let me put that together real quick. Okay, we've got this all glued up and set up. You can see we've got a 2-inch, it's a threaded female that goes onto the discharge hose of the mud pump. So the water from the mud pump is coming down through here, and it's all going to get really tight down through here and build up lots of pressure down in this 1-inch pipe. Remember, that pipe is now 40 feet long, goes all the way down there, and what we're going to do is glue this last section up. We're almost ready to set this up. Okay, before I start, let's go over this real quick. So we've got this well point that's going to go down the very bottom of the well, and can you see all the little slits inside of here? This is how the water's collected. So the water is in the ground, you know, all around this pipe. You can see we've got quite a bit of that well point on there. It comes all the way up to here, so about 8 feet of it. Then we have a check valve. We need the check valve so that the pump stays primed. And if you look closely, can you see the arrow? That tells me the direction of that check valve. So in other words, water can only go this way. And so I put together 10 feet of it, maybe 12 feet there, plus the 8 feet, so nearly 20 feet we'll start with, and then we'll glue the rest of it after we get it down in. So this is the 1-inch pipe, and I went ahead and cut a few teeth in the bottom. Probably don't need to, but just in case we get stuck or something, I can twist it. But you can see this is the 40-foot one, and it's going all the way back. You can kind of see it. It's going all the way back to here. And we've got the discharge pipe coming from the mud pump. This is the discharge pipe coming from that mud pump right over there. And the trash can is our water supply to bring the water into the pump. I've also added the garden hoses. That's from the new well, by the way, the one we put in about a year ago. It still works great, and now that's where the water comes from. But so anyways, we've got inlet pipe adapting down to 1 inch, so we can create a lot of pressure, and as that mud pump pushes it out, it should be able to blow all the sand that's at the bottom of that shaft out of the way and sink this 40-foot pipe down in. Then we're going to quickly pull that out and go ahead and reinsert the well point. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime this pump. Won't take a lot. It does have to kind of fill up this hose a little bit. Things like that. So I know it works pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and put our cap back on there. Go over the starting procedures. And we're ready to go. So the first thing we need to do is turn the fuel on. You can see it. Little diagram, turn the fuel on. We've got a choke. We're going to set that to start, set the choke. And I'm going to leave this thing at full throttle to start it right there. Now we're ready to turn on the power. Then you turn on the power so that it'll continue to run. And we are ready to fire this thing up. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and bend this pipe. This is 1-inch pipe. They make hoop houses out of this stuff so you can see how easily it bends. And there is a 2-inch shaft down here. I'm gonna get it in there. There we go. I'm not worried about it breaking, anything like that. Let's just push it down as far as it'll go. And you can see there's 20 feet. That's 20 feet right there. So now we're going to fire up that mud pump and really push this water out of the way. Get this down another 20 feet. Then we'll insert that the well point down inside that shaft. So once we sink this 1-inch pipe all the way down another 20 feet, so that's 40 feet down, then we'll insert the well point, if you can see the end of it. The well point will go into this shaft, pull this pipe out, quickly insert this before it caves in, and continue to plummet up. I'd like to be down there about 30-35 feet. Okay, let's go ahead and put a pump on here. So I think what I'm going to do is just cut off right here at this coupling. And we will plumb, you know, an inch, 1 inch pipe over with a 90 and tie it into this well pipe. And yeah, it's full of water. We're looking good. Okay, I'm going to use some all-in-one cement. It means it has the primer built into it. And probably going to replumb it anyway, so just want to see if it works. Put that on. Then I've got an old already glued up 90, so I'm going to put that on here. Should be good. Now we just need to make this measurement, and I've got a coupling for that. We'll go ahead and put the bottom coupling on there. I'm excited. I mean, is it going to work? Do we have water, and does the pump work? I just can't wait to find out. Maybe you can't either. Hopefully I cut that a little bit long so I can push it down onto the well pipe. In just a few more seconds, we're going to plug this in and see what it does. Oh, it's a perfect fit. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? We need to prime this guy first. So let me do that. And the way I'm going to prime it is I'm just going to put the garden hose right in here and let it run back and fill up that section of the pump. Okay, the way I'm going to prime it is just, I opened up this valve that they already had there, and I'm just going to tilt it up and fill up this thing with water. I already brought the power out, so I'm going to plug it in. We'll see if we get any pressure or if it even works. 30 pounds of pressure. Let me bring that GoPro over here. Right on. So you can see we're at 30 pounds of pressure, and it actually did shut off. So the regulator's working. This tank's holding pressure. Now the question is, are we down deep enough to be in the water? You can see our pressure gauge. It's slowly losing the pressure that's here in the tank, which is pulling that water up even without the pump on. And you can see it's coming out pretty nice. Let's go ahead and open it up a little bit more. There we go. Pressure should kick on somewhere around 20, but you can see it's an old pump. It kicked on at 18 pounds. And the pressure, it's looking good. We got water. You can't beat that. So we've got really good pressure coming out. You can see it just shooting all the way out here. Looking really, really good. But you know what? This was the fastest I've ever drilled a well. And that is using that mud pump and reducing from 2 inch to 1 inch. And just, you saw how fast that just dug right down through there. No problem at all. If this was clay, I think it would do the same thing. I put the teeth on the bottom of that pipe. Where is that? That's way over there. But it worked really good. Shuts off about 32 pounds, and that's assuming that gauge is correct. Remember, this is a used pump. But let's kick this on. Look at that. Such beautiful water. Now, this is clean now. No sulfur smell. We're down there, what, 34, 35 feet. Found a nice pocket of water. We have water. Our pressure's dropping pretty quick. You hear the pump kicking on. You can see it picking up. We got water. Eureka! Eureka, we have water. This is something you guys can do yourselves. I promise you, it's not that hard. It is a great DIY project. If you want free water, this is the way to do it. So if you're looking for the fastest way to get water, that by far is the easiest way. Hook up that mud pump, reduce that 2-inch line down to 1 inch, and let it just push all that dirt up and out of your shaft. I mean, that took me all of like 10 minutes, truly 10 minutes, and we were ready to put down the well point. That was that quick. And now we're ready to go ahead and hook up our Airbnb, our tiny house. This is the shower house. We're going to be putting in a toilet, the septic, all of those things. It's all going to go right down through here, and the leach bed, the drain field is going to be out pretty far away from here. That well is about 80 feet, 90 feet from where we're standing, so we're fine with that as being distanced from any portion of sewage. It's all going to be great. I can't wait to finish this and show you what we got going on. Maybe you'll come down and rent the Airbnb for a weekend. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.